What's up, brothers and sisters? Your brother G World 7_D coming at you again. And I want you to pay attention to certain things. Now, here's the book. Queen Califia in the island of California, she ruled in paradise until the great floods of the early 1800s. Alright, and I'm going to turn to page 20. I'm going to read a few things out of this book. I'm going to show you, like I've been saying in my other videos, the parallel to a lot of things. Alright, parallel to a lot of things. Here we go. It says Muslims found Americas before Columbus, says the Turkish president. Right here. One of the first questions I asked myself when I began this journey of discovery was, what was America before it was divided up into North, South, and Central Americas? The question begs the question, who would benefit from dividing up America? And the answer is clearly the conquering white Catholic zealots. The Euro-white invaders and resource-extracting corporate raiders, too, under their guise of corporations. They use the divide and conquer, a strategy we are all well familiar with in today's world as well. Civilization started in ancient India in the Far East, the Americas, and not in the Middle East. It was the Mayan Indians, and not the Indians from Hindustan, Middle East, that actually civilized the world. The knowledge of pyramid buildings and great architecture was exported from the west to the east, not the other way around as we have been sold by the white man's his story. This makes sense because one of the meanings of Atlantis is the people of Lord Shiva, which was a deity associated with the three-pronged pitchfork. Additionally, Atlanteans are associated with the underworld people that carry a three-forked pitchfork, which symbolizes the Trinity. Shiva is, of course, an ancient Hindu Indian god that has a three-pronged pitchfork. Shiva temples are found all over the world. There is even an ancient temple dedicated to Lord Shiva in the Grand Canyon in Phoenix, Arizona. Image of Shiva temple in the Grand Canyon, as you can read about it further on, which I showed before in one of the other books that I have. Okay. It is no accident that Washington, D.C. has the same name, Seven Hills, as does Rome. It is no accident that the Roman and the Greek architecture is the same in the USA as in Europe and all over the world. It is no accident that the USA Inc. Corporation, called Washington, D.C., was founded by the Roman Catholics and run by Jesuits still to this day. Trump, Clinton, etc. are all Jesuits, as are the past present governors of California, Newsom and Moonbeam, Jerry Brown. It is no accident that so many cities in the USA Inc. Incorporation have European names. That's because one America was the oldest civilization on Earth, and white man changed her story to his story when another great reset occurred with the Tartarians. The original one America, North, South, and Central America, today is the true old world. Nearly all of the major foods needed to sustain life came from the Americas and were later taken to Africa and Asia. Food like squash, tomatoes, corn, potatoes, beans, wheat, yams, wild rice, which was modified to create modern white rice, peanuts, and 90% of all your fruits and vegetables come from the Americas. California's Moorish Islamic origin. 16th century Spanish explorers got the name from Montevo's story. But where did Montevo get the name? Muslims? The inspiration of the word was likely caliph or khalifa, which means successor in Arabic, but more specifically refers in Islam to a head of state or leader of the Muslims. Montalvo was surely familiar with these words. Portions of Spain were ruled by the Moors, who were Muslims from 751 to 1492, and it fits the story narrative. Montalvo's novel was a fanciful rehash of the struggle between Christians and Muslims during the Crusades. The Islamic origins of the name illustrate an example of how our lives are affected by the many different cultural influences. even if we are not explicitly aware of them. In addition to coffee, algebra, hospitals, and toothbrushes, the name of our state finds its origin in the Muslim world. Just like our present-day state, the name California is a confluence of multiple cultural influences. Portions of Spain were ruled by the Moors, Tartarians, who were Muslims, from 757 to 1492. And it fits the story narrative. Montalvo's novel was a fanciful rehash of the struggle between Christians and Muslims during the Crusades. Dr. Barry Fell, a professor of invertebrate zoology at Harvard Museum of Comparative Zoology, introduced in his book Saga America, which is a good book, with solid scientific evidence supporting the arrival of Muslims from North and West Africa centuries before Columbus. Dr. Phil discovered the existence of Muslim schools at the Valley of Fire, Allen Springs, Lago Marcino, Keyhole Canyon, Washoe, and Hickerson Summit Pass, Nevada, Mesa Verde, Colorado, Mimbres Valley, New Mexico, Tippecanoe, Indiana, dating back to 700, 800 CE. And there, engraved on rocks in arid western U.S., he found texts, diagrams, and charts representing the last surviving fragments of what was once a system of schools at both an elementary and higher level. The language of instruction was North African Arabic written with Old Kufic Arabic scripts. The subjects of instructions included writing, reading, arithmetic, religion, history, geography, mathematics, astronomy, and sea navigation. The descendants of the Muslim visitors of North America are members of the present Iroquois, Algonquin, Anasazi, Ohokum, and Olmec Native people. Here were brown-skinned and Tartarian Native Americans. And Dr. Barry Fell also claimed that many centuries before Christopher Columbus reached America, Celts, Basques, Phoenicians, Egyptians, and others were visiting North America also. I also want to say this. You have all of these Islamic names here in America, but it was various different types of brothers and sisters that were here. But you also need to understand you had that Kufic script with the Vikings. The Vikings were not only Negroes, the original Vikings, but they were Muslims. All right, him Muslims. So see, these people been lying to you, man. You've been lied to. So when you continue to hear these goofballs keep talking like Umar Johnson, keep hitting you with the slavery from Africa kick, majority of the Negroes that you find in these various different parts of the world were already there. You had Negroes who came from other places who migrated there, but the majority of the Negroes who were in these other places of the world were already there, including the Americas. I want to make that clear. All right? A Moorish African emperor, Abu Bakr, took 1,000 ships to the New World in 1300. So Moorish navigators and seamen were highly sought in those days, that the previously land-bound Europeans were in their infancy in navigation and maritime science. A black man used to own the San Fernando Valley. That was Pio de Jesus Pico, 1801 to 1804. He was also the last Mexican governor of California. In total, in the 1800s, there were at least 4 native brown-skinned governors of the state of California. All right? And I'm going to stop right there, because my main thing is this, man. I always connect the dots, and I showed you before the images over the Grand Canyon of the black civilizations, or the various different images at the Grand Canyon, what they named Shiva, Osiris, Isis, and that was all there at the Grand Canyon that was cut. And you see the images that was cut, carved into rock, that you see angles and obviously measurements. All right, when people try to say, "Oh, the Grand Canyon is false or fake," it was nothing there. That's a lie. There's so many. I showed you in other my videos, showing you that images that were a bunch of large humans / humans mixed with a human head and an animal body, or straight up animals, excuse me. Maybe a large lion that was carved into rock, but it's been so old in that it has not been kept up, that it has deteriorated over time through weathering, through heat, through the movement, through heat, wind, and rain. A lot of stuff have eroded over time because it has not been kept up. So a lot of rock carving you see all over this country, but particularly in the West, in a lot of these national parks. I mentioned Mesa Verde. I mentioned also how the Anasazi and their structures out west parallels to that of the Mayan. Not the Mayan. The Mali, because those are the same damn Negroes who are building globally. Built west and they went east. There's many different architectural structures that are 1,000 years older than the pyramids of Giza over in Egypt, here in Americas. This information is there. Do not listen to these bimbo Negroes who want to continue to just make you a slave from Africa. That is outdated, wrong information. And it's inexcusable to continue to use that outdated information and still try to teach that to our people. Like I said before, you've had Negroes from here and some African Negroes try to tell us that we're from West and Central Africa. And then some will just dismiss the Olmecs in general. And try to say who cares? They don't care about it. That's not our history, which is insulting. That is our history. Because we're indigenous to this damn land. But when people tell you something opposite of that, they have an agenda, and then you need to look at them as your damn enemy. Stop taking the things that they say for face value and start doing your own research. Just because they went to Harvard or Yale, that doesn't mean they know any damn thing. So you need to critically evaluate and research and dig deep for your information, because the information's there. The information's there. So you just go have to want to seek it out. Alright, brothers and sisters, it's your brother G World with a quick video. I haven't done one like this in a couple weeks. I've been kind of a little busy. But this is good information that you brothers and sisters need to look into and study. Alright? And I showed you from this book by James W. Lee, obviously Queen Califia in the islands of California, she ruled in paradise. And in the back of the book, you use the original, the seal, Queen Califia. Right? And obviously, they light her up first. So. Alright, brothers and sisters, man. Here's your brother G World. 7_D. Peace and love. I love you. Bye.